Kenny, we ready to roll? By the way, once again, Kenny Norris does our video at UCLA. By the grace of God and his family at UCLA, he's the one that brings all this and makes it all available. I know he recognizes him every week, but he pays me very well to do that. But let's all give a hand for Kenny Norris.
Obviously, we've had some great tradition with the University of Tennessee. As you know, Tennessee's got one of the great football programs in the country. The Vols have a stadium that seats 95,000, and people in Knoxville go crazy about their football. Of course, in the South, it's football is king. Playing a team like the Volunteers, University of Tennessee, was a great matchup for us. We didn't know quite what we had, but going against a team that's very quick, very talented, was a real test. And also showed that the Bruins have got a fine football team in their own right. They can match speed with speed, and also matching the wits, our offense against their defense and vice versa. It's a very interesting game, and I hope you people enjoyed it. Here's some highlights.
Where would you speak up? I can hardly hear you.
There's Bob Toledo is here. He's our offensive coordinator. Talk about him a little later on. We kick off. Nice stop by, that's Colbert. Andy Colbert made the stop. They go deep. Good coverage by Teddy Lawrence. This is where their man gets hurt, one of the receivers. Again, short yardage there. That's Greenwood came up and made the stop. He's our right corner. Took the ball deep in our own territory. Cook with a little draw play. We can bring that back. Kenny, if you would, please. Going pretty fast. Watch the blocking here. Well, if that problem is, don't worry about it. But the draw play is a fine play for us, and we get some good blocking. Here's a pull. Guard, tech, pull, roll out, Cook. Hits you out to JJ. That's a nice shot. You're off the shotgun formation, but made another pass to JJ Stokes. Little fake the run off of the shotgun. Great touchdown strike. What a route he ran, and of course Cook really delivered. That ball's up in the air. He's a big-time quarterback, and a fine run after the catch.
Who's coaching those quarterbacks?
Off the shotgun again. Another good run. Another drop. Good strike. Good run after the catch. Another fake. Good run by JJ. We're getting some faking the run off the shotgun, which holds the linebackers. Little draw to Washington. Another good play, and also it keeps the linebackers alert that they can't take their drops. Off a punt formation here. Good snap. Special teams is a very vital part of our football program. It's about a third of the game, as you know. You're up defensively. Good pressure there. Very well done. We had good pressure and we had good corner support by good shot by Greenwood. Bring that back, please. Now, to be able to pass like that, you've got to really have a gun. You have to have the strong arm to run the out like this. And this is a nice route, but watch Cook deliver it. He really zinged that ball, and it's a nice reception. You were rolling out. Our passing jack was very good. This is where JJ get hurt. Did he get hurt there? That's Milner. Fullback. That's a play action off the isolation. See that cornerback was using his arm and shoving him out. It's illegal. Terry's reason hell.
No, what I'm talking about.
Nice shot for the 3. They have a little draw there. Good defense, good scrambling by our defense, good pursuit. Good control. Tennessee had a big offensive line, and our guys did very well. No good. Cook back again. Another shot to Stokes. Fine runner after he catches a ball. We'll get to know more about what his condition is when Bob Toledo gets up here. Good run. He's a handful. Cook back shotgun. Run the sweep off of that. Good block. Good kickoff block. That was Sharmon Shaw. Fine running back. Had a big night. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, our field goal kicking has been so good. Into the end zone, that's a good kickoff. Again, we've got to pursue. Pretty well covered by our special teams. Well played by our defensive line. Got good controller, and that's a big offensive line we're playing against Tennessee, and it was a real fine test for us. Again, wrapped them up, and as you know, for the 3 quarters we had them blank. What a wrap up. That's the junkyard dog, George Case. Unusual football player. Hard to believe that guy teaches Sunday school. Little draw. Sharmon Shaw. Bring that back, Kenny. This is a fine play, well blocked, well run. And this is what keeps them on us when you have a good passing attack, and it's a very well blocked play. Here it is. Little draw, little delay. Good running. The great back is great at the end of his run. Gets you 3 or 4 more at the end of his run. And Shaw did a really good job and well blocked by our offensive line. Fine blocking. It's a team game. It takes coordination of all phases of it. And good coverage there. We had about 8 guys at the point of attack. Well done. Our contained man just almost overran that. Away from the flow, you always have a contained man that's in position to contain the ball, keep the ball inside of him. Again, Sharman Shaw, big time running. We're starting to really block, getting blocking angles here. The game is all leverage, trying to get the leverage. But well blocked, well run. Eric Cook, really a nice shot to J.J. Stokes. He's lining that ball's in there. Bought some time there. Nice. Same play. Protected himself from the defensive back, shielded. See that? Good hands, well done. Off the I formation here. Fake the run. A lot of play action stuff we're running off of our passing. Good protection there. Again, that ball's delivered. He's zinged it in there. We're lucky to have a guy like Wayne Cook. Another draw, good running. Way to go. Keeping them off balance. They can't dig their cleats in on the type of play we're running. Beautiful job down there in about the half foot line. Great punt. Intercepted by Donnie Edwards. What Donnie did, he said something wrong. He tried to lateral to, I think, to Asai. Asai, I know, has got capabilities going in, but he probably should have kept the ball. Way to go. That was a real key play, and great to see Darren Aragon for the win. Fine 25-23 win to the Bruin.
Thank you, Jerry, and once again, thank you, Katie Norris. Great to have that kind of video, and even the coaches don't get that video. I noticed that Bob Toledo was taking notes here. He said, I haven't seen these kind of plays in the film room. So, a couple of welcome surprises for you next week. Just when you thought you'd get used to a new president, I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to be back in Nebraska. And that's why you're not up here on the program this week, Bubba. So our Vice President, Jim Rollins, is going to be in charge. Jim's never done this before, so he asked me to record the entire meeting, and he'll just play the recording. We'll see how that works out. But Eddie Kazarian's going to be here, which is going to be kind of fun. We're going to have then Wayne Moses and Tim Huntley. Week after that, I'll tell you a little story about Tim Huntley. I met his high school coach when I was up in Washington this summer. Told me some tales about Tim Huntley that I hope to embarrass him in front of everybody here. So, but without further ado, we're going to get Jay Foster up here and Bubba Khan, and we're going to bring up some players. We are very fortunate to be able to have these players come every week. So, Jay, why don't you come up first? Because you're shorter. And everybody you're going to interview.
Right. Well, I got seats. Thanks a lot for turning it off, Jeff. Have a seat.
Okay, well, we've got two players this week representing the defensive team. One's a defensive player, one's a special teamer. So they're both seniors. I'd like to first introduce out of Rosemead, California, our punter, Darren Shager. Second player I'd like to introduce, this is what I like, why I like doing the defensive interviews, because this gives me a chance to get some of the real guys up here. Our starting left tackle from Oceanside, 6'5", 315, Sally Isaiah. Darren, let's see, is this your second or third visit to Touchdown Club? We've had you out here pretty often, huh?
This is probably like my fourth.
You want to do some introductions? You've got a few people here near and dear to you.
Yeah, I do. I have my parents, Don and Priscilla, right over here. As well as my beautiful fiancée, Denise, is here.
Well, Darren, I want to be probably the 597th person to congratulate you on that great punt that we just saw that went out of bounds on the 6-yard line. 6-inch line. That's my first interview this year. I need to get warmed up. You had a great game. In fact, do you know who won the special teams ball for the game?
I did.
Anything else you'd like to say about that?
Well, the punt, I wasn't really trying for the 1-yard line. I was trying to get it somewhere inside the 20, and just got it down there close. Had a great bounce. So good thing it bounced out where it did, because Coach Snoddy, who doesn't like those things going in the end zone. So.
Sympathy. Did you like that first punt Tennessee had where it bounced like on the 2-yard line and came back like to the 10?
I love that. I love that. That reminded me of my very first punt at UCLA. It was at Michigan. I kicked the ball way too high, my freshman year. Kicked the ball. It was at Michigan. Kicked it up. It bounced. It was about a 24-yard punt from where it landed, and then it kicked back about 10 yards.
But we can laugh about it now, right? But it wasn't too funny then. Let me get Sally over here for a question. Coming into the Tennessee game, Tennessee now had all 5 offensive guys back on their line, so we heard a lot about their line. So I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about, how good was that line, and how does it relate to maybe the Pac-10? Were they real tough? How'd they play us?
They played us real tough. They're a pretty good line, but I think they had an attitude that we can't play football here on the West Coast. I guess we all know. But yeah.
We were talking at the table, and we asked Sally if Tennessee was talking very much on the line, and what was the answer to that?
Not really. Told them much the same, and all I do is point at the scoreboard.
They got going a little bit in the fourth quarter, but a little bit too late, huh?
Yeah, I'll take a bad game and win anytime.
Now, what play in the playbook is that where Donnie intercepts it and then tries to lateral it to you to?
I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do. I started celebrating first. I brought back memories of the SC game when I turned around. I just saw Donnie pick the ball off. I started celebrating. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, I gotta start blocking.
Now that looked a little bit like a play last year. See if you remember. It was the Arizona game, wasn't it? And you made a tackle, and the next thing I knew, you'd ripped the ball out of the guy's arm, and you were heading off.
Yeah, I mean, in practice, the coaches stress always, turnovers, and that week, coach told me that one of us was going to pick the ball up and run it. So we had to practice it. Happened to be me to pick the ball up.
That was a good play. Let's ask Darren a little bit. How do you scout the team for this week, SMU? What do you look at, the return, all that kind of stuff? Give us a little on that.
Well, from the films that I've seen of their punt return team, they do have a decent punt returner. And one thing I did notice right off the bat was that they rushed the punter very hard. And I don't know what the statistics were, but they've roughed a few punters. They blocked a couple punts, so they're going to be coming hard, I know. And they're going to try and put some pressure on me. So I think we're going to have to do a really good job protecting as well as myself, even trying to get the ball off a little bit quicker, and trying to get that ball off as quick as I can, and don't play around with the ball too much. Just catch it, step, kick, get it out of there.
Last year you had a real good play. I think you were going for the Emmy where the guy blew by you. I don't think he touched you, but you took a great flop. And then when you got on the sidelines, the camera came on you or something. You were like,
well, yeah.
do that now, would you?
No. I did take. He actually did hit me legitimately, but I guess I did kind of have an exaggerated landing. But it did.
Well, anything for the cause, right? Sally, for scouting at SMU, tell us a little bit about the kind of offense that they run. Are they a one-way pass run, a mixture, option?
SMU is a pretty good offensive team. They mix it up a lot, but watching their film, the main threat is their quarterback. We got to contain him, and I think we just play at the level that we can play at. I don't see them beating them.
Okay, let's let, anybody's got any questions, fire away here. We've got some questions, all right.
Sally, it's a psychological disadvantage of playing a team that's supposed to beat you. Do you get any feelings the guys are looking forward to next week, and this is just an on-hold game that they're playing tomorrow?
Now be careful, there's coaches here.
No, as a senior, our job is, to let them to focus on this game. We can't look past anyone. Our goals are set to win every game, and SMU's next. Can't look past them to whoever we're playing next week.
Okay, yeah, okay. Claudia.
I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to make a comment. I don't know if you mentioned it, but Darren didn't just win the UCLA Special Teams Player of the Week. He won the Pac-10 Special Teams Player.
All right. Any other questions? Steve?
Darren, over the years you've been at UCLA, you've improved your kicking tremendously, and that's one thing to get an idea of how the other players improve with the experience they get, but to the average fan, a punter just goes out there and kicks every time. Doesn't look like there's an awful lot to learn. How do you go about improving yourself?
I guess for me, when I did come to UCLA, I was strictly a punter. And I think that transition from high school to UCLA was high school, you were practicing other positions. I played other positions, other sports. And here at UCLA, I was just a punter. It was just one job to work on all year. And I think there was a big transition from my freshman to sophomore year between here at UCLA. My freshman year did okay, but then when I came in my second year, I did see a lot of improvement, leg strength-wise, consistency-wise, because I had all that time to work on strictly punting. I think some weightlifting helped out. I think too, for me, when I go out each off season when I'm out there punting, I'm really focusing on just being consistent and staying consistent. I think, in terms of improvement, I haven't really seen that much strength improvement in these last couple of years, but I've really focused a lot on just being consistent throughout the year, especially later on in the season. You get to the fourth quarter, some games, a lot of guys get tired, but if I can just stay in shape running-wise, you're able to eliminate a lot of those shorter distance punts that maybe some guys, after getting fatigued or tired, might shank a couple here or there. If I can just eliminate those short punts, that keeps my average higher, so it improves.
Any other questions before we go to the offense? I'd just like to say, both of these guys are seniors and they're great leaders. About a week ago in the Times, I don't know if you saw it, there was a little sidebar about Sally and how he is stepping forward and telling the younger guys, listen, I've been in the program all these years and I've had some adversity and I've had some injuries and had trouble and got back in on all of that stuff. And I think that's great leadership, and I think we should give both these guys a good round of applause. Thank you. Okay, well, Mario, who usually does the offensive interviews, is out of town, some bogus business deal, I don't know. So anyway, we're going to have Bubba come up and do the offensive players this week, so come on up.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, we are honored this morning to have one of our excellent running backs. He is a team leader, definitely, and in the press guide it indicates that he does whatever it takes to make the team better. And he was the starting tailback last year coming into our Rose Bowl season. He had some ankle problems, sat out a few games, came back and made a lot of contributions during the second half of the year at fullback and tailback. In high school, he carried the ball for 10.5 yards a carry at Ellison High School in Kylene, Texas. He led his team to the district championship. If you do that in Texas, you're a man. Darren Washington, come on in. I know that you really worked so hard in the offseason. This is your senior year. You want to put it all together and hopefully go on to the NFL. And what did it feel like after all that work on that fourth down or fourth quarter play when you just saw that opening and you made the most of it?
Well, it was a third and 8 situation, and I was just pretty much concerned with holding on to the ball and just moving the chains. And next thing you know, I saw James Christensen and Big Jonathan Ogden open up a hole, so I was just like, let me go ahead and take it in.
You didn't have to think about that too long. What kind of things did you do in the offseason preparing for this big senior season?
Well, I just did a lot of weight training and running and strengthening my ankle, like you said. I had some problems last year. I put on about 8 pounds to make that transition. I played a little fullback last year, and so I needed a little more weight if I was going to be able to, be more effective at that position. But pretty much the same thing, a lot of running, catching balls in all season, just those kind of things, really.
You're from, as we said, Kylene, Texas. Isn't that the same town as where Othello Henderson came from?
Right, Kylene, Texas, it's a small little place. Othello went there. We play SMU this year, and I have a teammate, receiver Brian Berry, so I get to see him a little bit. I put out a lot of athletes in that area. Some of us make it, some of us don't. Hopefully, I'll be one of them.
By the way, I think Othello Henderson made the Saints this year. He's now playing on the New Orleans Saints squad. So one of your alumni at Kylene made it. And what? Kylene. Okay. Yeah, definitely. What are we going to look for in the SMU defense? Are they a pressing defense, or are they conservative? What do they look like on film?
Well, they went the same way as Tennessee, basic 4-3. They pretty much come straight at you. The defensive backs are pretty quick. They like to come up and support the run. They don't do a lot of stunning or blitzing or anything, that type of thing, until you get into the red zone, which is the 20-yard line. Then they'll try to bring some linebackers in, but we have so many weapons. If they blitz, then we have a quarterback that can get rid of the ball to some great outside receivers, and we're just going to go straight out and just try to break the rule early.
Going back to the Tennessee game, were there a couple things that the offensive coaches and players noticed that as the game progressed, we could take advantage of, and we made a couple of adjustments to do it more and more, or was it just pretty much go by the game plan all the way through?
Well, we pretty much stuck to our game plan, but what we noticed when we did a hurry-up offense or pressure offense, they started to suck wind a little bit, get tired. So the offensive players didn't anticipate doing it as much, but it helped out. We were a little winded, but they, I don't think they were quite used to that, and they weren't expecting it, so we caught them off guard with that. Eventually, it kind of wore their defense down, so we just, we worked on that pretty hard.
Great. Let's open it up to some questions for our offensive player, yes.
You played a lot of years under Homer Smith, and you come in with a whole new offensive program, and you no-huddle offense. Is that a tough transition for you guys to make?
No, not really. I mean, we're pretty smart players, you know. Coach Toledo brought in the pressure offense, and I think it's going to benefit us a lot because it teaches us, you know, not only to hustle, but a mental aspect of the game, which, you know, when you're tired, you know, you got to realize they're getting tired too, and if you can just stay one step ahead of them, you know, that's going to pay off.
I know we're throwing a lot more to the halfbacks and fullbacks. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I can't even explain it. It makes me feel real good. Coach Toledo, you know, he's coming from Texas A&M, and I had a funny feeling that the running backs might see a few more balls, and you know, so I've been working on my pass receiving, and you know, I dropped a few last week, you know, in my anxiety, but I'm gonna work on that a little bit more this week, and hopefully I'll see some more balls. Maybe compete with KJ and JJ.
Coach, did you hear that? You heard that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Other questions? That's it? Well, we expect to have you back again this year. We're going to have a great season. Thank you very much for coming.
All right, let's go. Hey, clap for Darren. He's called us on that break. Hands in the air. Ready? You know, it's great to have players like this. I get people that call me up. Now I understand why John Gunn's sitting down instead of being up here. I get people from calling me up all across the country and asking, how do you get the players here? And we tell them just like John did, we pay them cash every time they come. Where is that reporter that was here? I'm going to ask Jerry to come up. Jerry Long, obviously, has been around the football program for a long time. I'm going to ask him to come up and introduce Bob Toledo and Mike Sherman, two guys that have been together for a long time. Jerry gets an insight on the field. I have specifically asked Jerry to try and make the introduction shorter than the speeches. Jerry, come on up. I'd like to introduce Bob Toledo and Mike Sherman.
We have two big-time coaches. We have Bob Toledo and Mike Sherman, and they both come from Texas A&M. They both were down there 5 years, and they came from a big-time program. But I want to first introduce and talk a little bit about Mike Sherman. I was the offensive line coach, as you know, and when Bob Paulsick left for the pros, he went with the Atlanta ball club. We thought we had lost a heck of a line coach, which we did. And a few weeks later, we are fortunate enough to hire a real big-time line coach. Terry Donahue was really thrilled when Mike Sherman decided to come to UCLA. He's got a tremendous background. As you know, in coaching, you work your way up. You go through the stages. Mike was a graduate of Central Connecticut State, graduated in 1977. He coached a couple of years of high school ball. From there, he went to Pittsburgh, to Tulane, coached 4 seasons of Holy Cross, and certainly 5 years at Texas A&M. He's been in the Cotton Bowl 5 times, Sugar Bowl, Holiday Bowl, Hancock. He's a veteran coach. I had the opportunity to sit in one of these sessions. Terry asked me to sit in there, and he was teaching the offensive line, and I was very impressed the way he taught. They were working on the zone blocking concept, and the way he taught was beautiful. He could lean on the players in a positive way, and also he has the ability to give praise when praise is deserved. He's got a great philosophy of coaching. He's learned from a lot of different people, and he's a real great person. And I'd like to say this about him. He's got a wife, Karen, 4 children, Sarah, Emily, Matthew, and Benjamin. They live in Westlake. Let's have a great hand for Mike Sherman.
I got to be honest with you guys. the second week of practice during camp, I got my little list for the quarterback clubs, the touchdown clubs, the speaking engagements, and I was trying to trade off after, knowing we played Tennessee, and I was going to speak to you after Tennessee. But, I'm kind of happy that I didn't do that right now. I was telling Bob yesterday at A&M, every quarterback club I spoke at that week, I always preceded with a victory. So if you guys are smart, you bring me back right after that SC game. I must admit that coming out here to Los Angeles and UCLA has been a little bit of a culture shock for me and my family. I've always heard so much about UCLA and have had a desire to work with Terry Donahue for quite some time. And when I decided to move out here, my mother, who lives in Boston, was very, very concerned about where my kids were going to go to school and the earthquakes and the lifestyle and the whole thing. And I must admit, when she watched the game on pay-per-view out in Boston, she wasn't disappointed when she saw that streaker run across the field. So I made it through the earthquake so far. She calls me up once a week and wants to know if we have any, you guys call them aftershocks, we call them earthquakes. But, in Boston, when I grew up in Boston, we'd have a big snowstorm, and then we'd have another snowstorm. You guys have earthquake and an aftershock. We don't have after snowstorms, you know what I'm saying? It's a different deal. But anyways, I get my weekly call from her and tell her how the kids are doing, but they're doing great. I tell you, we're having a great time. This is a great place to live. The image of UCLA is unbelievable across the country. I try to express that to some of my players. They have no idea. I mean, from a coaching profession, from a playing place, UCLA has such a national reputation that few other teams other than maybe Michigan and Notre Dame are on the same level. And that's the way I look at UCLA. I look at UCLA as being a national school. I look at A&M as being kind of a regional school, even though we had a great football program. And so sometimes our players don't realize that, and I try to express that to them on what a big-time level and what a tradition you all have here at UCLA. It's tremendous, and tremendous support that you give. I was real impressed. We were coming here. Everybody talks about A&M and all this other stuff, but Bob and I were walking in here. We're saying, golly, they got great attendance. A lot of people showing up here, and we came in here and sat down with a great crowd and enthusiasm and so forth. But as I was sitting here and looking at some of these older guys, I realized for about $15 you can come and have breakfast with one of these cheerleaders. It's not a bad deal. There's a lot of our players who like to be doing the same thing, but they haven't had that opportunity. But anyway, let me talk to you about last week's game and our offensive line in general. Last week's game was a real challenge for our offensive line. We graduated at UCLA 3 players of quality athleticism and experience. And we, as an offensive line, have taken on the attitude that, I don't read any of these magazines, but our kids do, and we're not respected very much within the conference as far as offensive lines are concerned. So we've made that a big issue. Tennessee, on the other hand, was ranked as one of the top offensive lines in the country. So we went out to try to outplay them, and our defensive line had a lot to do with that, but I think our guys rose to the occasion as well. And hopefully we can continue to do that. At left tackle, Jonathan Ogden is a guy that I think should be an outstanding player. He has got better each day. I think when you take away a spring ball from a young man, it's hard. He's still feeling his way through what most kids would feel through spring ball. But he's going to be, I promise you, a dominant force. And each week I tell him if he's outplayed the guy across town, because that's his biggest competition. And we're going to try to outplay Vasselli over the SC every single week. And he's going to do that by the end of the season, I promise you. He's an outstanding young man as well, and that makes it even more fun to coach him. At left guard, James Christensen, who was the center for us, is now at guard, has made great strides. He really struggled in the spring, didn't want to play guard, but he has come around, and I think he's going to be a player that will get better every single week. And he has extreme extremely quick. He needs to get a little bit more size to him, but I think that will come with time. The center is Mike Flanagan, and Mike is, I think, will end up by next season. He has to get a little stronger. Will be one of the best centers in the country, if not by the end of this season. I'm really excited about Mike. Very intelligent player. Makes all the line calls in our pass protection, and just does a super job. Matt Singson, probably the most improved player in my mind of the group, has really come along and has, as a part-time player last year, has really put together, I think, a pretty good game on Saturday, and hopefully will continue to improve. He has the size and strength. He needs to work a little bit on his quickness, but he's getting there. And a right tackle, a kid that probably played more snaps in the game than he did his whole career is Sullivan, and he's gonna keep getting better, hopefully, with experience. Excuse me, Kennedy. Excuse me. I had a kid. I call him Sullivan all the time because in the Irish influence, and I had a kid that was just like him named Brandon Sullivan. But Kennedy, a guy that wasn't worth the shit till the senior year. Excuse me. But anyways, they typify the same thing. But anyways, Kennedy is a guy that has come around. He's going to be a good player for us, and I'm excited about him because he has an attitude to get things done this year. And when I came in, I told him, I said, I don't care what you've done in the past. It hasn't been a whole lot, but up until this point, he has not disappointed me. He's done a great job, and I'm excited about him. I'm excited to have coached him. As far as SMU is concerned, I think Terry Donahue made a great point, and he said that each week we play ourselves, and we don't play. It doesn't matter if you play Nebraska, Tennessee, SMU. You're playing to put on the best performance you can that Saturday, and I think that's the most important thing we can do. And I think our people on offense and defense will put on a great show and give great effort. We don't look at SMU any different than we're going to look at anybody else. We're going to go out there and play hard and hopefully give you all a great show. Anybody have any questions?
Why don't we wait for the questions until both coaches?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. The next man is our offensive coordinator. His name is Bob Toledo. Many of you know him and seen him. Had a great record as a collegian at San Francisco State. He's Hall of Fame there. Great passer. Broke many passing records in his time. He coached the secondary at USC. Coached Ronnie Lott. From there, he went to University of Pacific, 4 years as head coach. From there, he went to University of Oregon with Rich Brooks as offensive coordinator. Had a great career up there. He had Chris Miller, one of his quarterbacks, Musgrave, the 49ers. And from there, he went to Texas A&M, 5 years there, Cotton Bowl. He's been to most of the bowls. Now, if you saw the film, which you did, the highlights that Kenny Norris presented, if you really are a football aficionado, you saw some excitement of offense that we haven't had. As you know, he did about everything known to man. He did a lot of faking, faking misdirection plays, draw, through the pass, different routes, different types of protection, different types of run. He kept the defense out of sync the whole night. He gives us the dimension. He believes in throwing the ball, and certainly we have a dimension too to run the ball as well. We'll have balance. And Bob Toledo is an outstanding coordinator, outstanding football coach. Many a time, Rich Brooks is a very close friend of mine. He used to say, what a tremendous football mind Bob Toledo has. We really welcome him to UCLA. He's a great addition, and I think that we're going to have an outstanding football team, and we're very happy with his leadership. Bob Toledo.
Offensive line coach, he's a heck of a motivator, gets fired up, huh? You all didn't realize that we hired a stand-up comedian as our line coach, did you? Huh? Okay. You guys did a heck of a job. I want to ask one question. How could a guy named Bubba not know Killeen, Texas? Bubba, don't tell me you were born and raised in California now. Okay? All our guys in Texas were Bubba. Bubba do this, Bubba do that. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'm extremely excited to be at UCLA. As you probably know, I was born and raised in California. My parents still live in San Jose. My wife's mom lives in San Francisco. I've got a daughter married to a guy in the Air Force. He's up at Travis Air Force Base with a little granddaughter. And of course, my daughter's going to be a freshman at UCLA. So it's great to be at UCLA. You know, I've known Terry for a long, long time. We go back way, way, way back, okay? And I've always had a lot of respect for him. And when he called me and offered me the job, I was extremely excited to accept it. You know, to be able to come back home to where my roots were and not have to eat brisket anymore was a hell of a deal. But anyway, you know, I know a lot of people are responsible for what we did last week. And right now, you know, you look at Ken Norris and you look at this video. Ken Norris was about ready to kill me, okay? And you can talk to Ken later. I had him cut up more film and do more tapes than anybody he's ever been associated with, he said. He said, Toledo, you're going to drive me nuts. But Ken, I publicly want to say you did a heck of a job helping me to prepare for this game, and thank you very much. Before I talk about our offense and the last week game and the upcoming game, I do want to say that you know, a lot of things start with defense, and our kids did a great job. And I know they felt like they let down a little in the third quarter. Hey, we let down a little bit too offensively. We're a team, and we'll pick it up a notch too. But Sally and his partners over there, they did a heck of a job containing a good football team. And you know, Jerry knows it well, and you talk about Tennessee football with all the great coaches they've had over the years, and one of the things they've always stressed was the kicking game. Darren Shager, my hat's off to you, young man. You did a hell of a job.
Yes.
You know, most punters are selfish people. They want to average, big average, and they really don't care about anything else. He did a great job of putting that ball in that 10-yard line, 6-inch line, and all those things. And I told him, I said, hey, we don't want you punting more than 5 times anymore, okay? But he did a great job. He's a team punter, and I appreciate that and respect him for it. And then, of course, we got Merton. You all know about Merton. And a lot of people wonder why, once we got inside the 30, we didn't score any touchdowns. It's because Terry told me he wanted the kid to be an All-American kicker. Okay? But, anyway, Merton did a heck of a job too. You know, it's always tough. You know, they always talk about punters and kickers, and they just go out there and kick, and what else do they do? But I tell you what, when it gets right down to it, a lot of you people wouldn't want to be out there with 55,000 people yelling at you, trying to put the ball through those 2 uprights or kicking out on the 6-inch line. So those guys are super to our program, and you can't do without them. Offensively, a lot of people were wondering, you know, what is this guy Toledo from Texas going to bring here? You know, he's going to be throwing options all over the place and running with the quarterback. Well, if you know Wayne Cook, you know we weren't going to be doing much running with the quarterback. But you know, we've tried to do whatever we had to do over the years to try to utilize the personnel you have at hand. And one of the things we tried to do against Tennessee, obviously, was you know, we have 3 basic sets that we're using. We have what we call our regular plan. And in our regular plan, we have a tight end, we have 2 backs, and we have 2 wide receivers. Okay. And then after that, what we do is we go to what we call our wide plan. Wide plan means we take the tight end out and we put in another receiver. And UCLA has done that in the past. The thing that we try to do differently that I brought in was that, you know, JJ played split end and Jordan played the flanker, and then we put Adams or Wynn in at the tight end position. What we did is we also then put JJ at the tight end position and put Wynn and or Adams at the split end. Okay, so now we got JJ and Jordan on the same side. They've done that here too. The different thing that we did is I put JJ at flanker and put Jordan in at the tight end position. So you saw JJ catch some of those, we call them smash routes, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, throwing the ball, complete it, and let him be a runner. So that's something we did differently with our wide plan. Then the third thing we did, which is completely different, UCLA hasn't done that, I spent time this past spring with Florida State. 2 years ago, Mike Sherman and I went down to the Buffalo Bills and spent 3 days down there. And we put together a 4 wide receiver, no tight end, 1 back offense. We call it our speed plan. We're trying to get as much speed on the field as we can. So we call it speed plan. Tennessee was not ready for the speed plan. I talked to their defensive coordinator, Larry Marmon, 2 days ago just to find out what he thought, because we're not going to play him for a while. And he told me what he thought. Anyway, the thing that we tried to do is try to do the 4 wide receiver offense, which was new, and then what we call pressure. And I know, we didn't show it at the Rose Bowl a couple weeks ago. We were kind of shy and didn't show you a lot. You probably thought, what's going to go on? You can't even score a point. But we practiced it a lot, and so what we did is we told the kids, all right, this is the first series. We're going to come out in regular and wide plan. We're going to huddle up every play. I had a script. We went 8 plays and scored a touchdown. We told the kids the second series, we're going speed plan, pressure. And we're going to put the heat up on them. We're going to turn it up and see what kind of shape they're in. And I tell you what, we found out real quick. They started substituting guys. They were scrambling. They didn't have enough people on the field, they said. So we tried to turn up the heat, use our pressure offense, and basically it's the old John Wooden fast break football is what it is. And that's what we tried to do. We said, hey, let's take a little bit of the John Wooden attitude and let's go attack somebody and make them stop us. Let's not worry about ourselves. So we did that, and then we changed it back.